Good morning, everyone. Afternoon, evening, whenever it is that you're seeing this. It is morning for me. It's not quite 9 a.m. and it is November 14th, the day of the WW plan change. So I thought I'd hop on here, talk a little bit about what I think of the new plan, what the changes are, what the similarities are, all that good stuff. Thought I'd sit out here on my deck. It's a little bit brisk out here, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's mid 30s, 35, 34, something like that. But it's nice and sunny out here. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really pretty. I love that about Virginia. Even when it's cold, it's nice and sunny. And that being said, cold is relative, especially if you ask my husband right now, who is not going to be doing this with me because he is currently driving back from Montana, where it is real cold over there. He was telling me it was -8 when I was complaining about it being in the 30s, and I was like, okay, I'll take my 30s. So the 30s is feeling a whole lot better than -8 right now. So I'm just sitting out here, and I thought I would just go over the new plan. So first off, the name of the new plan. To me, from what I can tell, it's just the WW plan, Weight Watchers plan. Well, they don't go by Weight Watchers, so WW plan. I don't see any other name for it. If you guys have seen that, please let me know, but it's just showing up as WW plan. No more personal points, so those are gone. The biggest thing about, and I have notes here if you see me looking down because I want to make sure I cover what I wanted to say, but the biggest thing is that everyone has the same 0-point foods now. So we're all going to be on the same plan. There's no more different colors, no more personal points, none of that kind of thing. We're all on the same plan. That being said, I did hear that there is a diabetic plan. Now, I'm not able to confirm that because when I went into my app this morning, bright and early, it prompted me to see the new changes. I hit that, and it just automatically basically did it for me. It didn't give me an option to choose something different like a diabetic plan, and that's probably because I'm already enrolled. If you're new, that would probably be an option to you, but like I said, it was not to me. So I can't confirm that there is one, but that is what I've heard. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, which I think is neat that they have a diabetic plan. But if you can confirm that there is one, that you're on it or whatever, I would love to get that confirmed. So please drop me a comment about that, because again, I can't confirm or deny that just based on my app. I'm back. I had to deal with a dog issue, and I can't remember what I was saying, but I will just jump into the biggest change being that we are all now on the same plan. And for me, that I think was my biggest complaint with the last plan. Actually, even the one before that, I know nobody really said anything about the color plan being kind of divisive, but to me it was, because there's 3 different colors. And so you've got 3 different sets of points, sets of 0-point foods, all that kind of thing. But I think people were a lot more okay with that, though, than they were with the personal points, which was really divisive. And you kind of lost that sense of Weight Watcher community with that, because we all had different 0-point foods. And that could really, the range of that could be really different depending on the person. So that was really kind of my biggest complaint with that. We all kind of found a way to get around that in a sense and still be able to share recipes and still kind of have that sense of community by being able to just share our recipe builder links with people. That did help, but it's still, I just didn't like the sense of, like I said, kind of not having that community, not being on the same page as far as what points were for different recipes and things. So I really like that about the new one. That's probably the biggest thing that I can say I like. And honestly, that's really the biggest change for me personally, because when I was going through what the 0-point foods are now, pretty much I had all those. So no real change. There is one thing that I'm not quite sure about, whether it is 0-point or not, and that is popcorn. But let me go over the 0-point foods now. And to find those in your app, all you do is click on the 3 little bars up in the upper left-hand corner. And then you can click on 0 Point Foods, and it's going to show you them that way. And then you can also click on WW Program Guide. Now this is where there is a difference in what the 0 Point Foods are showing for me. And I don't know if this is just the app hasn't updated. I remember last time, the last change, there were a couple of things that weren't quite right, and it seemed like they kind of worked themselves out. And so, you know, this is brand new. This just came out this morning, so got to have a little grace with it. But when you go into the WW Program Guide and it says view 0 Point Foods or my 0 Point Foods, it will say non-starchy vegetables, fruits, eggs, yogurt, and cottage cheese, fish and shellfish. I cannot speak this morning. I have not had enough coffee. Sorry about that. Chicken and turkey breast, beans, peas, lentils, tofu, and tempeh. Tofu and tempeh. I probably just said that wrong. TEMPEH. Corn and popcorn. Okay, so corn and popcorn is on this list when you go into WW Program Guide. If I go into the first one that I had mentioned, which is 0 Point Foods, it shows non-starchy veggies, fruits, proteins, grains, etc. So it's not there, is what I'm trying to say. So there's a little bit of discrepancy going on, and I'm not quite sure, I guess, whether popcorn is a 0 Point food. So those are the free foods. Like I said, I'll put a screenshot of what they are up. But pretty much the same for me. Unless I'm missing something, because I had all of those things free before. I had a lot of 0 Point foods free, and that is why my points were so very low. My points on the personal points plan was only 16 points, and I had a lot of people telling me how low that was, and that is primarily because I had so many 0 Point foods. I had all of these that we have now, like I said, except for if we have popcorn. I did not have popcorn. And my husband was the same way, honestly. The only difference, again, was he had oatmeal and I had whole wheat pasta. But we had a lot of 0 Point foods, and I remember actually complaining about that kind of last year when we talked about the new plan and how I didn't think that would work. But honestly, for me, it did. It was an adjustment, only having 16 points and that many 0 Point foods, but I adjusted and it worked out pretty well for me. So I'm actually kind of happy to see that for me, this really has not changed. Now, I would assume for a lot of you, though, this is a big change. If you didn't have a lot of 0 Point foods, you now do. So let me know in the comments down below if this is a huge change for you guys or not. Because again, it's not for me. It's going to be, I think, really easy for me to just kind of roll into this new one. And I was sort of concerned about that, if it was going to be drastically different, because it's always, for me at least, hard to kind of change things up completely. I get really in a habit with a lot of the things that I eat, the same thing, every day, which is why I don't do a lot of what I eat in a day, is because I eat a lot of the same things for long periods of time. And so I have my things that I like, and I get used to what the points are, and then when that all changes up, it kind of throws me off. But that is also a positive thing, I think, because it kind of does force you to reset and get serious about it again, and therefore be more successful. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'll be really good about tracking points initially, especially when we have a new plan, because you kind of have to. You don't really know what the points are for things. So I'll be really good about tracking. And then I'll just kind of slack off to the point where I'm not at all. I still count points in my head, but again, it's because I know what the points are for most things that I eat pretty consistently. So as far as foods go, no real change for me. But like I said, please let me know if it is for you guys. As far as water, getting points for drinking water in non-starchy veggies, that has gone bye-bye, which honestly I'm not going to miss, because I really didn't do either. I drink a lot of water every day, just in general. And I think maybe that would have been beneficial for people that didn't already do that. But since I did, it really made no difference for me. And then the tracking or the getting points for the non-starchy veggie, I just never really cared for that. I think I did it initially and that completely fell off. So those two I won't miss. We do still get points for activity, which I think is cool. And I do actually really like that because the way I do things, I'm in maintenance mode. I have been for well over 2 years now. I will have to be honest though, I do have my times of the year. This is one of them. Fall or holiday time, and then summer. I have kind of a little more of a struggle, and I will gain a couple pounds, but I still pretty much, for the most part, stay in my maintenance, well, my level that I want to be at. I might be a pound or two over, but I'm going to still call that maintaining, because for the most part I do. But the way I do it is I'm very, very strict during the week as far as points and all that stuff goes. And then on the weekend, I will have at least one cheat day where I don't count anything. I don't worry about what it is that I'm eating necessarily. I don't count points. And so what I do with those activity points is it's kind of nice for me to see that number going up, 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 because they add your activity to your weekly points, which you also still get. You will also still get weekly points that you can use whenever. And my weekly points stayed the same. I still have 21. But anyway, your activity points will still add to that. And then at the end of the week, you can see how many you've gained. And that kind of makes me feel better, honestly, about the fact that I don't count at least one day a week. And so I just figure all those points that I have gained during the week, during activity, and then just my weeklies also, is what I spend on the weekend or my cheat days. As far as recipes and all that in your recipe builder, those are all going to automatically update. I assume mine have. I went in and actually checked a lot of them because, again, I looked at this and it's like, well, this is pretty much the same thing for me as it was before. So I checked a bunch of my recipes and also just things that I eat every day, and they're all the same points right now. So again, either that is they just have stayed the same because I had all those 0 point things initially or in this previous one, or it has not updated. But yeah, so far, really no big change. But I did want to mention that all your recipes will automatically update. And I do really like that about Weight Watchers, is that when you have a recipe in there, it's just going to keep updating. So you'll always have the current point value for whatever that is. Also, I did want to mention that it gives you the option when you first go into your app to update it now, or you have until December 12th. And that, I guess my understanding of that is if you don't update before the 12th, they're going to automatically basically force you to do it. So they'll automatically update it after the 12th. And then I also would believe that if you're a new member, if you're starting out new, it's going to automatically give you the new plan. The other thing is 0 point foods, depending on how many you had on personal points, I think that's going to be the biggest factor in how many points you get more now. I was kind of surprised, honestly. So for me, I had 16 points, but I also had pretty much every 0 point food you could have. Now I have 23 points. So I'm kind of confused why I have so many more points. And that's not like a ton, but when you consider you only had 16, that's a pretty big bump up to 23. So yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting. And honestly, that's my biggest concern with this and how successful I'm going to be, because I was successful with the 16 points and having all those 0 point foods. But now if I have all these 0 point foods and I have more points, I could see that getting me into some trouble. So, I don't know. I mean, the 0 point foods, I think we all kind of understand that you still have to be mindful of how much of that 0 point you're food you're eating. You can't just sit down and eat however much of it that you want, because you will gain weight. There's just no way around it. It is calories. I mean, the calories don't disappear just because it's been labeled a 0-point food. So again, I think we all kind of understand that we have these 0-point foods, but it's not like go hog wild on it. As for me and how I'm going to be doing my videos going forward, pretty much nothing's going to change. As always, I'm going to have ingredients, instructions, points, recipe builder links, and that'll mainly be now for if there is a diabetic plan and you have different points. I want to still have those recipe builder links down for anybody that may not have the same points as me. And again, I believe that would only be diabetics currently. But also now going forward, and I have been doing this for the last couple of videos or so, I am going to start including calories and macros. And I will have all that info down in the description box too. I will most likely continue to just put the calories on the screen, but the rest of the nutritional info will be down in the description box. So be sure to check down there for pretty much any information you're looking for. That's where I put everything. I don't have a separate website. I know a lot of people do. I just honestly do not have the time to deal with 2 different websites like that. I put a lot of time into my YouTube. I try to answer all my comments. It's just I have a lot of time vested in YouTube, and that's where I want to put all my time. I don't want to have a whole different website that I have to worry about and end up basically neglecting. So that's why I don't have a website. I have had some people ask about that. This is just something that I do that I enjoy, and I put pretty much all the time I have for it into my YouTube channel. So I always like to mention that. Look for any info that you are wanting as far as recipes go and nutritional information, points, all that. It's always going to be down in the description box of my videos. But I think that is it, guys. Hopefully this was helpful to some of you. Like I said, this is going to be interesting, I guess, for me to see how those extra points, how I do with those. Because that's really the biggest change for me, is just those extra points. And yeah, we'll see. But that is all I've got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.